Welcome to color compare of white contrast in speed paint. This seems weird, alright? White speed paint, because we generally are going to prime whatever we're painting white. Like I've primed these skulls on these swatch sticks white. So we do have one offering from each of the lines though. We do have Apothecary white here on the Citadel contrast side, and Holy white on the Army Painter side. And one thing I want to mention just at the start of the video, because you can see it so clearly, is each of these have a sediment that you need to shake into them. I just had these shaken up just yesterday as of the filming of this video, and took me a while to shake in this sediment, a good 2-3 minutes for each of these. So do shake your paints well. But I want to mention that because what you're about to see is the fully shaken version of this. I'm not going to kind of half shake it for these color compares. And so what we have here is we have Apothecary white and Holy white. So we do, of course, prime white generally for the use of contrast in speed paint. And so these skulls on these sticks have been primed with Army Painter Matte White. And of course you can use other colors, and maybe you want to, and maybe these Apothecary white and Holy white are more relevant over those. But what you kind of see here is that these two are just kind of a little bit of a gray color. They really are a very, very, very light gray. The Apothecary white, maybe a little bit more of a blue-gray, and the Holy white maybe a little bit more of just a pure gray. But you'll notice the highest areas are still that bright white, and the recesses are kind of shaded, and the flat areas on the top of the skulls here on the Army Painter are a little more colored than those on the Citadel side here. But the way it's pooled, and I wouldn't pay too much attention to below the, like below there on these skulls. Like I'll cover it with my thumb, because when you're painting with this, you're gonna spread it out, and I didn't do that on the back of these skulls. So this is interesting. I'm not sure I'm entirely sold on the idea of a white contrast or speed paint. So I always like to, in these color compare videos, say, if I owned neither, which one would I buy? And the answer is, I don't think I would buy either of these. I think either one works fine for this effect. If this is the effect you want, pick up either one. Here's a hint, Army Painter's cheaper. Otherwise, I don't think I'm buying either of these. Because if I really want white, I'm not going to paint this contrast or speed paint over it. What instead I'm going to do is I'm going to do something maybe a little sneaky, and that is I'm going to take, I'd probably actually use dark tone, here's strong tone, but I'm going to take a wash, or I'm going to take some black speed paint. You're like, what, you're painting white, why are you using black speed paint? I'm going to take some dark color, a very dark color, probably the black speed paint, and I'm going to just line in like the panel lines and leave the big areas white. I don't know that I'm going to have something like a skull or something with this much texture to it that I actually want to put this on it. Like for skulls, I don't think I would use this white anyways, unless I really had like a super, super bleached out skull, in which case I might try to put it very sparingly just to get into those eyes or something. But even then, I think I'm going for something like a Nuln Oil or a dark tone or a black speed paint that I put on with a very fine brush just in those dark areas. This is neat, and if this is the effect you want, I mean, you can see what it does. Go for it. I'm going to definitely play around with these because obviously I own both of them, so they will definitely show up maybe on some ghostly robes or something. I'm going to find some use for them. I'm going to call these a very light gray color rather than a white, and say that either one is just fine for your purposes. Though if you're trying to do something like paint a stormtrooper, I am not going to put either of these on stormtrooper armor. Alright folks, well I hope this is helpful in choosing your colors for your next painting project. Let me know if you have a really good use for these white contrast and speed paints, because I would really like to know what that is and play around a little bit with it myself. I will tell you that these rarely come into like painting any of my miniatures. I rarely use them. But here you go. Now you can tell them apart. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care. Let's get